Well, hello out there, and welcome to. Oh, we got audio issues already. So, anyway, it is the April 2022, and a little bit of a sad day. Um, I think that's going to do it. But anyway, a little bit of a sad day. See if we can get Comic Cam to work again here in a minute. But anyway, a little bit of a sad day. Yesterday I went. Of course, I've gotten hauls. I've gotten a lot of stuff, comic book wise, that came in. G-Mart comic book haul, and I'm starting a little bit later this morning, where I didn't title it the Sunday morning rainy Sunday, rainy Sunday morning comic book show, because we're starting around noon for you guys that are obviously already here. Let me come back in. Um, But what happened was yesterday I got a lot of these comic books. I've been traveling for work, and I found a pawn shop that somebody pawned off a couple boxes of comics, and it was some of the most eclectic stuff and obscure stuff from the 80s I'd ever seen. But I went through and I found a ton of MicroNauts. I probably got over 45 issues of Volume 1 for you MicroNaut fans out there, you crazy Marvel zombies out there. From 1979 to I think it's about 84, I think. A lot of great things. So to get a break off from work, the beautiful wife had gotten me a kayak um, for Christmas. It was lost in the mail. She was getting nervous around Christmas, telling me I may not have my present. And I was like, I got plenty. Look around. And then in January, a delivery truck came during the first blizzard we had here, more or less, and turned around and they delivered it. She got a refund, and they delivered it about 2 weeks later. So I finally get to go kayaking yesterday. So I put stuff on Instagram. I had a absolute fantastic time, killing about 2.5 hours just floating around the water, taking pictures, little videos, enjoying things, seeing the nature, if you will. Right, great kayak, the first kayak trip of 2022, if you will. And then I came home and found out my grandfather passed away. Um, so I'm going to a wake this afternoon. So I've been sort of processing things, getting a few things done, said, thinking about things. And I'm like, let's do a show. And we're going to get Comic Cam back in here. So thanks for joining me this morning. Go ahead and like, click, and subscribe. I got a lot of great things to see. And for the people who just heard what I said about my grandfather passing, please, you don't have to send your condolences. And I'm not one of those guys, man. You don't have to send your condolences or anything like that. I just want to let you know I'm a little bit aloof, but we're going to talk about some good stuff here. Awesome. Okay, let's enter the studio and see what happens. Well, I'm going to set up. There's not going to be a Comic Cam today. It's not acting right. So that's all right. We'll try one more thing. So yeah, we'll get rid of Comic Cam. No Comic Cam today. I'm just going to show you the books up front, and that's kind of sad. All right. So it was all set up. I don't know what happened. Oh, thanks, John. Appreciate it, man. So anyway, like, click, subscribe. It's time to get this comic channel back up to where it was. Morning, Dr. Silver H. Thanks, man. What's up, brother? So anyway, like I said, for people popping in, I have a wake to go to. The last grandfather passed away, and I started the show late. So that's all they're going to be doing, man. So here we go. Here's the G-Mart comic book column. And what's fantastic about pre-ordering my comic books like this, I get them 35% off when they reach $85 of accumulate to $85 worth of product. I get them mailed back to me, and I've been getting shipments maybe twice a year now. I was getting them like every 3 or 4 months and stuff, right? In the year of 2021, I bought 27 new books, so I was really surprised to see this come in, right? And I ordered some stuff for the wife. That's why it came in quick. She actually got something very cool. Might show it one day, right? So the first thing that we got is this facsimile edition of Conan #1. Roy Thomas, Barry Windsor Smith. What was this, 1970, 1971? And what's really odd is I actually had a viewer or two Newer viewers, I'm always glad to see those, sort of asked me to do like a topic video about should facsimile editions be, I don't know, not done because people are getting scammed or something. I don't know if it's worth a whole video. I've done this for so long. My opinions are pretty blunt. Okay. Number one, buyer beware. Number two, um, even though the apps that show you key books and a lot of in first appearances and things that help you find these key books when you're out in the wild or online or whatever, and you can get a good deal. Uh, I think they're a tool, but if you're relying on them too much and you can't tell the difference between a facsimile edition that costs $3.99 right on the cover, and you can't, and it looks brand new and shiny and glossy, and you're buying it thinking it's the original book, you have not developed the skills of a collector. I think it's a lesson that needs to be out there to wake you up and have you start paying attention and to expand your skills if you love being a comic book collector. Now about the book itself, right? I've kind of this is sort of like teenage. Well, I hope. Okay, here it comes, man. Are you ready? It's now a Howler Mouse live show. It's the new Teen Titans #2, if you will. I have accepted I will never find one of these in good condition and affordable. Unlike Teen Titans #2, which is the first appearance of Deathstroke, this is a book that I have ran across several times. Mildewed, yellowed, battered, staple missing. This book is well loved, in my opinion, and well read with the copies that I have run across. So the facsimile edition, for you guys that don't know, DC and Marvel both for a couple years have been putting out dollar book reprints of popular books from their past, but there's no ads or anything like that. It's just the story with the cover. Facsimile editions take the entire book, advertisements, letter columns, editorials, anything that was in them back in the day, and they just republish them. All right, the complete comic. So yeah, this is good enough for me. I've read this before. And arguably, if you are into the comic book history of everything, uh, there's three books that the people who really delve into comic book history will bring up, saying that these three books, each one has there's an argument for each one being the real start of the Bronze Age, coming out of the Silver Age. One is a Denny O'Neil Justice League book. I'm not going to say the number because I'm blanking out here, but it's where Snapper Carr turned on the Justice League, working for the Joker. Number two, and that was like in 68 or 69. And this was, I think, 1970, that Conan #1 came out from Marvel. This could be the start of the Bronze Age for people. But the one that people really agree about is that Spider-Man 123, 122, The Death of Gwen Stacy. That's the popular one, the most accepted one. But I feel like Conan, for me, is where it really started. It's where our books really started growing up. And it was all thanks to Roy Thomas bringing in those pulp barbarian stories of Robert E. Howard, where if you ran your mouth to the wrong person, you got your skull split. Scantily clad people in the Hyborian Age. And what I love about the Hyborian Age is Robert E. Howard did such a great job with this world, if you will, even in his pulps back in the day, that I actually knew people who went to college with my stepdad who were trying to do research to do a paper on the Hyborian Age of human history, thinking it was real. That's how great Conan is. So, and I'm sparing you. On the other side of this, I have a bunch of my pulps and all sorts of things of Conan. Conan was in my house just as much as Superman and Spider-Man and Batman. Okay, growing up. Okay, so the second thing I gave in. I bought a new Marvel book because they mentioned Miracle Man in the back of this, right? It wasn't so much that I wanted to miss out on a big key book because this isn't even the hot book. It's a variant cover that's the hot book. But it was like, I'm a Miracle Man guy. I've been waiting for that last issue to finally come out, that a lot of people, by Neil Gaiman and Mark Buckingham, I believe. Supposedly it's done with a few issues after it. But for you guys that don't know, Eclipse Comics was putting out Marvel Man, which Marvel sued, and they had to change the name to Miracle Man, which I think was even better. And Alan Moore wrote this fantastic saga that kind of has lost its edge unless you can put yourself back in time and realize it was the first book that dealt with a superhero in the real world with some of the themes and concepts and actions that were taking place. So Marvel, then there was this great Neil Gaiman, Todd McFarlane court battle over who has the rights, and many things came out of that. Marvel acquired a few Neil Gaiman characters and stuff, and they started putting out the Miracle Man issues reprinted with new coloring and then hardbacks and all this stuff, and they completely dropped the ball again for whatever reason and never finished the story. When Eclipse went out of business, we did not get issue 25 of Miracle Man through them. And there are actually people who've been waiting over 30 or coming up on 30 years waiting on that book. I think Marvel started putting out those books in 2013 or 14. So anyway, there's a hint on the last page of this that Miracle Man may be coming into the Marvel Universe proper. I don't know about that. Anyway, I actually read this, and it's no secret. I don't mean to bum anybody out. I know people have left the channel before and stuff, but man, this Marvel's a mess, man. Okay, I just found out that there's an idea out there. I don't know if it's going to really happen, but apparently there's been some book or something, maybe a free comic book day book or something that's given everybody the impression that they've tied Spider-Man books, current Spider-Man books, into X-Men books. Moria McTaggart, a long-standing supporting character of the X-Men, is now like a robot Terminator type, and she's likes to skin people, and she's going to skin Mary Jane, so she can sneak into this gala that the X-Men are having on Krakoa or something, and that they've turned Mary Jane and her whoever's in her circle into like the Cardassians of the Marvel universe. I can't do this. I'm sorry, guys. It sucks. Just hearing about this and trying to get it sucks. So I read this book, and this is Kong the Conqueror fighting a mammoth, a woolly mammoth through much of it, while we have a elderly man narrating things and saving Kong at the end of the book by stabbing somebody in the back. Just leave it at that. I thought a lot of this stuff was ridiculous in this, but now I know. Now I know. You know what I mean? I read it, and if I want to bitch about something, I can say it. Something that I followed since it came out in 1995, Astro City. Been there since the beginning. Have grown up with this book. And the cast of millions in Astro City, Kurt Busiek's Astro City, the characters in the universe, if you will, ages in real time. And apparently Kurt Busiek is feeling nostalgic and stuff, right? This book, I didn't think it was a one shot, but I haven't seen any other pre-orders for any books after this. But it's a return to Image Comics where they started out. After leaving Vertigo, they had plans to do graphic novel one shots, and things fell through. He goes through a lot of stuff behind the scenes in an editorial in the back of this, explaining why things haven't happened that were planned. And DC just sounds like a mess. He's not so much dropping dimes, but there you go. But anyway, that was then, and we're starting back looking at some heroes in 1969 who've just turned 18. And there's the Jayhawks. There's a Teen Titans like team, I guess. And these would be the new sort of Teen Titans like team with one original member. They all died, and it's quite political and has a few themes of things that are popular now that are ridiculous and stuff, right? But it's a good setup for something else that would have came after it, I'm assuming. I don't know, man. I can tell there's a direction. But I'm not going to say it's lackluster, but like I said, I feel like it's just introducing us to a new story that may be more ambitious. It's gotten great reviews, but the thing about it is, people who are into Astro City, hang in there. They've loved it. That's why the book has survived for, oh my God, 28 years. Isn't that wild? 27 years. Different publishers, sporadic publishing, lackluster Vertigo days with the story. You hang in there, but because you're invested, it's just fantastic. I love Astro City. Let me see, what is this? Yes, Dr. Silver Age. That is a new Astro City book. It doesn't even say number 1 on it. So Kurt Busiek has an editorial where he's talking about things to come. So apparently they're working on a few things. Like I said, maybe it's a tone, maybe he's just looking back. I don't know. I don't know. Something I'm going to tell you to save your money on, because you have to understand that I am a fan of many things music wise. As a kid, I listened to a lot of 3-chord garage rock with my grandmother. I was really fascinated with R&B music and Motown music, like the Jackson 5 and a few things. I was very eclectic. Jim Croce when I was a kid. It was a good song. It was a good song, which was kind of it was a little bit contrary to what was being played in the house when I would go to bed by the parents, because it would be albums and 8 tracks of like Kiss, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Deep Purple, and things. And I despise Deep Purple. They have like 2 songs I can listen to, and I can go on and on, right? Just completely different music. And then all of a sudden, I sort of got into the heavy metal, if you will, and just young, felt the fierceness of it and everything. And I always felt like there was something missing in this music. I couldn't put my finger on. I wanted something raw, something felt a little bit more real, and all this stuff. You know, that angst of the teenager, if you will, where your eyes are opening to the world, open up to the world and stuff, right? And it was punk. Okay, Glenn Danzig, Ramones, and sadly enough, when I was starting to get into this stuff, the hair bands started getting real popular, and thanks to MTV, I had a mullet and was part of that scene. And it was like there's a very sad time for me from 85 to 89 with my music. Very sad, and I was able to come back in, get grabbed in with the Violent Femmes and the Smiths, and some things that were bringing the Pixies, things were bringing me back, and got back to my punk roots and stuff, right? So there's a comic book print that a lot of people may not know that I go back to the 90s with off and on, where Glenn Danzig of the Misfits got some Frazetta rights, and he put out a book with Death Dealer with Simon Bisley, the Jaguar God, and a few things. And this is one of those books because it's Danzig and Bisley, Simon Bisley, doing Veronica Revenge. And Veronica, I believe, is the name of the company that he puts books out on the side. The books are not great, but I get them for the artwork when I do have them. I still have the promotional material where they did a Death Dealer book back in the 90s and things, and the stickers that came with it, and the comic, the one shot. That, like I said, it just very straightforward, uncomplex storytelling, if I will. Gore for gore's sake, and some of this very dark and stuff. And I read this like in 3 minutes. So that's all I have to say about that. You know, oh man. And then here's what's amazing about Todd McFarlane. We are in the 30th anniversary. I wonder if these have the 30 on it. We are in the 30th anniversary of Image Comics. Okay. That blows my mind. Okay. I have told the story many times when Image was going down. I was at a community college and I was outside, and a bunch of people came and got me. 2-3 people came in and got me and said, "You got to see this." And they took me through the cafeteria, and they took me into the hangout room. I don't know what it was. Where they had a pool table and a jukebox, a few video games, and what was a big screen TV back then. And right there on Headline News or CNN or something, I look and I see there's this press conference, and I see Larson, Silvestri, McFarlane, the Valentino, the whole bunch. And there's a news segment saying that these guys have left Marvel, and they're going to be starting their own imprint called Image. And I was there. I still have a bunch of those image books and stuff from the beginning. And some have come and gone. I don't even know if I have Youngblood anymore. I know I have I was there, So here we come up 30 years later, and it actually started in the 29th year. And somehow Todd McFarlane just came out of the woodwork. I mean, he's always been around. If you follow him on social media, if you're a fan of Spawn, you're a fan of Spawn. But Spawn reached a point where I'd be in a comic book shop, and it could be friends or it could have been total strangers. And we were wondering who in the hell is buying Sonic the Hedgehog and Spawn. You didn't really see them that much, and the books were still going. So it blows my mind that McFarlane decided he's going to expand. After 30 years, he's going to expand the Spawn universe, and he's going to start be doing these omnibuy, put the trades back. He's getting on board with things, introducing these characters, pulling from runs. Spawn books, obscure Spawn books, whole runs that had such low print runs and everything end up being worth money. And There for like about a month, it was just like Spawn last year. About a month, it was just on everybody's mouth. After 30 years, it's been over 20, I don't know, 25 years since we had the Spawn movie, and he's talked about the next movie coming out for 25 years since then and stuff, right? So it blows my mind that he was able to get me. I got Scorch #1 with the McFarlane cover. He was able to get me to buy more Spawn stuff after 30 years. You know, I had the first 50 issues. I think I have like the first 25 to 30 is what I kept, you know, this and that, you know, missed out. And then I have Gunslinger Spawn with the McFarlane cover, which I got to say, man, it is so cool to see that McFarlane still draws like McFarlane. You know, I can see some Greg Capullo has influenced his work. So yeah, Gunslinger Spawn, and I tell you what, this feels like a heavy book. I don't know if it's the paper quality or if it's packed, but I tell you what, I dig the cover. I dig the colors. That's a throwback to the Lynn Varley on Dark Knight Returns. And I was also cracking up around this time that, you know, as McFarlane is promoting his Spawn universe, it's going to be exploding, you know, with all kinds of books, he decides to reveal that he's got some uncredited inks in Dark Knight Returns from '86 that Frank Miller was doing and stuff. You know, he did some background inks here and there. I'm just sitting here thinking McFarlane is a genius. Okay, you know, like being able to suck people in. Now, two books that speaking of Image again, two books that I took a chance on. I'm a Jeff Johns guy. I don't know if it's where it's the same age, but he's done things in comics that when I was 10 and 11 years old on the back of the bus talking to one or two of my friends that we would talk about, you know, if this could happen in comics. The biggest thing was expanding the Green Lanterns and having the spectrum of colors amongst the lanterns and stuff, right? So I always kind of think it's the influence of when we grew up, and he's around my age. And of course, things have happened behind the scenes with DC, and he and Gary Frank, and he was putting out great stuff. And he's got the Stargirl show going, pulling in James Robinson. Just everything was tying into it. He did some great work. But the last couple, I don't know, almost a decade, it's like he's wanted to be Alan Moore, and he's tried to pick up on Alan Moore's work and be Jeff Johns trying to write like Alan Moore, and it's a mess. Doomsday Clock. Anytime I mention Doomsday Clock on anything online or in the real world, it just everybody starts shaking heads, and I'm just sort of like, okay, I got you, right? So after Doomsday Clock, apparently things happen behind the scenes with Jeff Johns at DC, and he's finally made it to Image and done his own book. And I love post-apocalyptic stuff, right? So I have the first issue, but I went ahead and got the trade. What is this? The first 6 issues? Yeah, first 6 issues of Geiger. Post-apocalyptic world, and Geiger apparently is our, we'll say, protagonist. Okay. Basically, I've been in comics for so long, I look at him and I'm like, that's the atomic skull from Superman, but it's a radioactive man whose last name was Geiger. And apparently there's cannibals out there and a few dangers, and his family apparently is supposedly, after 30 years since the bombs dropped, and we know who dropped the bombs, but apparently he thinks his family is still alive in a bomb shelter that they're locked inside of, and he sacrificed himself so they could be in there because the crazy neighbors were coming over. Found a few little political things in here and there, which I was just like, I just cannot wait till we get away from this. But anyway, I read the first issue 1, 2 chapters in this, the first 2 issues, issue and a half in there, and it's not grabbing me, but I'm gonna give it a chance because I have to. Because I also got the 80-page special that he sucked me in with, the what I now refer to as the Dr. Silver Age checks. You know, if you go to Dr. Silver Age's channel, if he's still out there, there's another checker book, okay, out there. But you know, Jeff Johns' love of DC is still shining through. You know, this looks like a Superman annual. It's got the go-go checks, and everybody gets a story. I will say that I do like what is his name, Barney. He's a puppy here, but he's not a puppy in the book. But I can't wait to read the origin of Barney. I do like the 2-headed dog, gotta say. It kind of reminds me of Cerebus. Okay, who is out there, man? I hope you're still there, man. I hope you saw that there, Silver Age. Ross Sanders is here. John is here. Okay. What do we got? Albert Bailey. Hi, I just bought Devil's Reign 90s Top Cow Marvel Crossbow so far. Do you have it? I don't think I have that. I'll have to dig. I don't think I have that. He's there. Go checks. Cool. All right, for everybody that's popping in there today, letting you know that I may be a little aloof today or something like that. I had a fantastic day yesterday going kayaking. I'm going to plug my Instagram. Give this channel a thumbs up, subscribe, and everything like that. But I have pictures on my Instagram, and maybe I think I have some videos on there. You know, I'll definitely put them on Facebook and stuff of my kayak trip yesterday. Had a great day, but I came back and found out my grandfather has passed away, so I'm going to a wake tonight. That's why the show started earlier. You don't have to send condolences. I'm just letting you guys know if I disappear from YouTube for a week or so, maybe week and a half, that's what's happened. I'm just kind of having to take care of things in the real world with that. Moving on here, because we got a lot of MicroNauts to show here at the end, is that this gave me a surprise, and I knew it. I was so suspicious when I got this. I've still got the receipt here. For 35% off, this came to $10.40, and I thought it was too good to be true. All right. And in a way it was, but this is fun, right? But all of a sudden it was like a Marvel Masterwork trade, soft cover. And it's going to be collecting Strange Tales 110, 111, and then 114 through 129. And those are some of the first, if not the first, Doctor Strange tales with some Ditko, right? I'm like, there's got to be something up with that. That's super cheap. So I was expecting to find out it was like in black and white. It's going to be on super cheap paper that you can see through. The cover looked fantastic, very retro. I like that. Lots of blacks, lots of inks. It feels solid. The book is heavy, but it's tiny. Okay, here's a regular trade, and there's the Doctor Strange trade. So I don't know what the deal is with the format of this tiny little book, but I feel like a giant when I read it and stuff, right? But I've already flipped through it, looking at it, man. Ditko had some great panels in here. They're just fantastic. Some great storytelling, very nostalgic. I have no doubt in my mind that if I had been around in the 60s, I definitely would have been a Ditko nut. I can definitely tell there's some very subtle, deeper stuff there, man. The world that he builds feels gritty. People are smoking in the rain with their little beards. So many things I really appreciate now, man. There's some touches of reality there. Just really good stuff, man. Like I said, I read some of these when I was a kid, and some of these in reprint, some beat up, torn up comics that were my stepdads and uncles that I would read of this. So if you're a fan of the Silver Age and Ditko in general, this is to get. And I can feel now I can feel the influence that Ditko had on Alan Moore. It's got the 9-panel grids in here, and some of the pacing. It's things that those skills I was talking about at the beginning of the video. As a comic book collector, you got to develop your skills, not only in hunting comics and being able to, know what you're doing a little bit and have fun and get burned and stumble and have victories. It can be quite a journey if you're in this for a long time, but then it's like the actual execution of a good comic book, the art of a comic book. It's like a joke. You can laugh at a joke and get the punchline, but then you got to break down the joke and realize there's a setting, there's a timing, and why is it funny? And I can feel the Ditko influence now. A little sort of an intangible thing here and there. Good stuff. Really excited about it. And now we go from Ditko to my favorite, the man that the man who started out scaring the hell out of me to where I would have to turn his comic books upside down so I could go to sleep because they freaked me out, to thinking that the man is an absolute genius, and there's still a little cloud of sadness, that he's gone. And I can see his influence in everything. I'll have my Academy Award sent to me now for my dramatic introduction there, right? But I got these epic collection of Thor to wake the Mangog, Mangog. And what's sad is the comic that they pulled from for this cover. My eBay app did not alert me that the auction was ending, and I could have got the original book for $10, and I missed it. But anyway, these epic collections, man, I'm trying to get all the Fantastic Four, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee run through the Epic collections. I have 2 or 3. I got a 4th one, I think, pre-ordered. And this is Thor 154 to 174. What I like about it is it's got a little bit of historical reference there for you. Volume 4. This is Thor stuff from 68 to 70. It gives you clearly the titles that's in there and a quick rundown of the characters. I feel like these Epic collections are for people who know what these books are, know exactly what they're hunting for, and it's just straightforward. The colors are fantastic. The reprint is fantastic. The book feels good. They got some weight to them. Epic collections are fantastic. And apparently these do sell out quick with certain titles, of course. I've seen a lot of out of print, listed as out of print. People are trying to complete their collections. That's why they're numbered. And I feel like there's a whole very small niche community who are going just for the Epic collections. And I got a feeling it's quite a few people who feel like they have been pushed out or have walked away from modern comics and stuff, right? The older people. Thank goodness that I get these for 35% off. I found a few at Books A Million and bookstores that have put them on clearance. So I've got them as cheap as $10, I think. Yeah, about $10 or something. I think I found a few at Ollie's Outlet, so that would be 75 to 90% off. But I got this for 35% off, and they are pricey, man. I think you can correct me on this one because I think they used to be 36. They're now $40 a pop for a soft cover, but you get a lot of stuff, high quality soft cover reprint, in my opinion. So this is just a great era. My favorite stuff with Thor is the Bronze Age. It is the Kirby stuff before that. I can remember the first Jack Kirby Thor story that I know I read, and it was The People Breeders, the first appearance of the High Evolutionary. Somewhere around here, I've got that beat up comic without a cover, and I've got the reprint from the series that they did in the 70s. The People Breeders just blew me away, and I've been a High Evolutionary fan since that day, since I was 5, since 1978. So there's some magic with Jack Kirby's Thor, all thanks to Vince Collada. I think I'm saying his name right. It says leading Kirby on this. But Vince Collada, if you looked at all of Kirby's other works that he was doing at Marvel at the time, they're packed. They're full of stuff. There's backgrounds, there's people and everything like that. And Vince Collada was a cheat. He would erase things. And it was a happy accident. And on one hand, you've got this horrible tragedy of Kirby art being eliminated forever that we'll never see again because this guy erased this stuff. Yet at the same time, it gave the Thor books its own atmosphere. You know what I mean? It added something by taking away. Very, very strange. That and it's not a minimalist approach, but it's one of those things where I'm just sort of like, well, no wonder the Thor books felt different. What do we got here? Comic collector. Man, we got a lot of people coming up. Am I excited over you're excited over Doctor Strange 2? Why kill off? I don't. Okay, Albert. I'm not into modern Marvel comics. Okay, so the Doctor Strange 2. Oh, I don't think you're talking to me. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm excited about the Doctor Strange movie. If I walk out disappointed, I walk out disappointed. But Bernard Cumberbatch, I think he does a fantastic job in anything he does. The Sherlock series, I'm very glad when I found his Sherlock series that I could binge it. There's no way I could have waited for weeks and for years and stuff between episodes and stuff. He is fantastic. I feel like I was so glad we're finally getting another Doctor Strange movie because you talk about an actor they're wasting. Eric Breen is here. All right. What we got here? Here we go. The Epic Collections is the only good thing at Marvel these days. The first Ghost Rider comes out this week, I believe. Oh, that's cool. Hopefully there's Mike Plug. That's all I'm going to say, man. I didn't know that was coming out. Apparently, I missed that in my pre-orders. Okay, and Eric Breen, I don't know if you just popped up, but I may not be on Wednesday with the fossils. My grandfather has passed away. We're going to a wake tonight. I'm probably going to have to take care of a few things this week, just in case. Dr. Silver Age is here too. Okay, what do we got here? You're costing me money today, Tim, because now I want that Doctor Strange trade too. It's cheap. It's cheap, brother. Ross Sanders is talking about wanting to start the Spider-Man. Okay, man, it's good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Oh, Jared is here. Check out Jared Friday nights. He is carrying the torch for the Cavern of Chaos show, keeping it going. Shannon's here. What's up, brother? Nice. All right, got some fossils here. Got Jared Osborne here, Cavern of Chaos. I love this corner of YouTube. Love it. All right. We'll take a break from the comics here and show you something I found. Do you like Rocketeer? Did you like the Rocketeer movie? I like the Rocketeer movie. I like the Rocketeer. And I was so glad to find this puzzle. This is a frame-in puzzle of the Rocketeer. I love this stuff. I'm going to be framing this thing. I could sit here and make a video. I've actually been thinking about making ASMR videos where I just get my puzzles out and I just sit there and don't say a word and I put the camera on them and I put the puzzles together. So the Rocketeer puzzle, sometimes these have years on them. This is probably from 1990. It's ages 3 to 7. It is owned by by Disney. So this is a promotional piece, marketing that we got for the Rocketeer. I would love to have a Rocketeer prop. I don't know. I might have a Rocketeer figure around here, but I'm getting off course here, right? And the second thing I got, I don't know. Marky's not watching. I know he's not watching, but I'm gonna get a hold of him. Marky 0316. Anyway, that's a whole other YouTuber, and I don't think he's doing a lot, but he hangs out with the New York Warriors and stuff, right? But every now and then, when I'm on the Instagram, which on Howler Mouse, you should go. I probably have a link after this uploads or something. But yeah, on Instagram, I have the VHS collection of all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies that were, when they're lined up like this in the slipcase, it makes a huge picture of Freddy. And he asked in that collection, when I posted it, is if I had the uncensored version of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. I was a little taken aback. These are things I usually know. I was like, there's an uncensored. They cut some stuff out of one of the movies. If you have watched the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, as I did when they were coming out and everything, that sounds ridiculous. So I ended up finding this for $5 at a place called Spookables in Brush Fork, West Virginia. I might put a link up to. I might do a video showing you that store, man. He's just got a little. His store is probably as big as my room, and it is packed full of old comics and records and cassettes and vintage toys, posters. Just one of those places. The guy went in business for himself. It's not going to focus. Anyway, the full length uncensored version. So I tried to look this up, and around the time Marky told me about it, it was actually quite pricey. So $5, I'll do it. I checked it from old. Now, this next book, this back issues number 133. Some of you guys might already be on top of this, man, but you guys know my love for Starman. You guys know my love for that 90s book, The Legacy. If you've been on this channel forever, I got videos going back to the beginning, pushing that book and everything. So I was very excited when Tony Harris started putting up new Jack Knight Starman art. Didn't know what was going on and stuff, right? And it turns out he did some new Jack Knight Starman art for Back Issue magazine, where the theme is the Starman issue. I felt like I've waited for this forever, and it actually got released back in March. March 14th is when this was actually released and stuff, right? So I've had to wait a little while and stuff. I've seen people posting their covers. Found some other Jack Knight Starman fans that I was like, well, it's good to see you guys are still out there. But this is a fascinating read, and it goes through all the Starmen and anybody that sort of has a theme of stars in it. Like I said, if you've read Back Issue magazine, you know what you're in for. They're very thorough and they talk about a lot of stuff, right? But there's a new interview in there where they did it by phone. I think they talked to him one at a time, and the person doing the interviews did a fantastic job of meshing those so you could read going through there. So check this out. This burns my ass a little bit. First of all, one of the first things I noticed is that we have a Japanese theme here with the cover, and Jack Knight is wearing his dad's Starman uniform shirt, or could have been his brother David. I don't know, right? But if you followed Starman and how he refuses to dress up silly like superheroes do and all that stuff, right? That for him to be wearing that, that's a big deal. That means that's going to be a heavy story, right? Well, we'll never know the story because apparently James Robinson and Tony Harris have had the story forever of an untold tale of Jack Knight Starman that would take place between issues 28 and 29, 27, 28, where he goes to Japan. And DC, they took it to DC to talk about it, and they were told there was no interest. And Tony Harris and I apparently kind of see some things the same way out in these cons and stuff, because he's always at Heroes Con, a few places we've been to the same places. And when people are wanting commission work from him and sketches and stuff, he can't get away from Starman. So he says, and my first thought is DC's throwing away money again. And he says that like 2 paragraphs down after I thought that they're just throwing money away. I'm not saying it would be a blockbuster huge hit, but I got a feeling that it would rejuvenate a lot of people about Starman who've been waiting and bring in new people because they keep printing it out. They did the trades. They did the 5 or 6 omnibus. Oh, am I covering them up? I have them here somewhere. Oh yeah, here they are. Yeah, I have the omnibus right here. Yeah. And they've just come out with 2 huge compendiums. They're always bringing out Starman again. So for them to have a new story, and DC's not wanting to do it, but they're willing to kill off half the Justice League, and they've made Superman Jr. a prick, and they're willing to do all these other things. God forbid they actually have a solid story enmeshed in there with Starman. So anyway, I've shown this before. Okay, so this is The Strange Death of Alex Raymond, and this is by Dave Sim. There's a whole history of this book being worked on and abandoned and brought back and funded and everything like that. And I got this months ago. I've been keeping an eye on this for years, it feels like, right? So Alex Raymond was a famous cartoonist, that's putting it lightly, and he died in a car wreck, a la like James Dean and stuff, right? So I thought that we were going to get this big detailed biography on Alex Raymond, and it's a wild read. I wouldn't really recommend it for anybody unless you really want to see. It's so hard to describe, but anyway, there's this whole secret history of how art evolved from Alex Raymond and a lot of these photorealistic guys of yesteryear and stuff, right? And it's Dave Sim. Okay. I mean, it's a little bit of a schizophrenic take on the dynamics of comic books and their evolution based on Alex Raymond and his contemporaries at the time, tied in with his death. And at the same time, it gets very existential, right? I mean, I think the cover says it all. Okay. Now, why do I have a second issue of this? If you guys have remembered, it's over there. Because the first one wasn't supposed to be sold or out there. I had to check and make sure it wasn't stolen because I actually would have returned it. I don't know how I got it, but the first print of this, they screwed it up. It's got some misprintings in it or something. Some production problems. So they ended up replacing mine, didn't want it back, and they ended up replacing mine. I didn't even ask for this. I was in their computer. They ended up replacing this for free because the first one was messed up. So yeah, it's free. Yeah, let's see if that's going to show up. Yeah, but anyway, you can see, yeah, it came in for just a second there, but yeah, free. They replaced it for free. Blew my mind. That was very nice of them. So now I'm not going to touch the other one because, of course, we know it's going to be a collectible, and I'll just read that one, even if it ends up just being worth $5 more than what it was. Oh, thanks, Parker. Appreciate it, man. Another book I've got to hunt down. Who we got here? Yeah, Shannon. Oh, yeah, I share the love for Starman and have the back issue. Yeah, I've loved it. I've devoured it. It's the first thing that's really pumped me up in a while to read. Back issue magazine's awesome. Parker, thank you for the nice. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. All right. So now what do we got here? Oh, got some. They're talking amongst themselves. So let me grab the box here, right? So, in my travels, I found a pawn shop, and it's another honey pot. So I'm not going to share it because, as I've said, there are people who do just check in on my channel locally because I was so excited and want everybody to have the joy of comics and help them out and tell them where to get, find things locally. And it turns out they were dicks. So we'll just put it that way. I ran into a few of them. But anyway, so I'm not going to say where locally I found this, but it is a pawn shop. There's several pawn shops. And they got some books in. And it was the most eclectic stuff I'd ever seen in a pawn shop. From the 80s, stuff that I can't even tell you what it is because I never heard of it, and it's not even on a price guide stuff, right? A bunch, really indie stuff. And then of course they had a few more modern books up until the early 2000s, I think. So I really had to pick and choose on one end there. They had like some Distant Soil. They have a Legion book. Some Lords of the Ultra Realm were in there, and then some Eclipse titles and things like that. And then I hit that last box. It was like I think it was like 4 short boxes, 2 long boxes. And then I found the MicroNauts stuff, right? So let me see what we're at here. It was some extra stuff. I got 2, 3 extra books. All right. These may be out of order, man, and this is why, and I'm sorry about Comic Cam not working. It was working up until I started. So anyway, not only did I get the MicroNauts, like issues 10 up to about 52 or 53 or something like that. But the ones that they blow away the ones I have. I have the first like 10 or 15 issues, and they're tore up, beat up. Number 1's pretty good. It is, I got it signed by Mike Golden. So I was able to replace a few things, upgrade them. But what was cool about it is I grabbed all the ones that were newsstand copies, just for that nostalgic feel. I never really went nuts over the MicroNauts. Get that glare off of them. Right. So, yeah, a lot of MicroNaut stuff, a lot of great art. And what blows my mind is like MicroNauts, ROM. There's a few books from back in the day. I got some doubles. I just went ahead and grabbed as many as I could. But what blows my mind is that there are still MicroNaut fans. There is still a cult following for the MicroNauts. My favorite is Bug, and I found out that's a Marvel created character, if you will, to fit in here. I love Bug. These Mike Golden covers are gold. But like I said, I was never a huge MicroNauts fan. You get the point. There's a whole bunch in here. I grabbed a few other things. All right. So I got issues 10 through 57. Maybe missing a few issues, maybe 2 or 3 issues missing here and there. These are very fine copies. Very fine copies. And then there's a few other things I got here, and I'm really hoping that Jared is out there because he might laugh about this. But these were 60 cents a piece. I talked the guy down. I got him to knock off about $7, and it came to 60 cents a piece on these books, right? So I got some early Dark Horse Aliens books. This is Newt's Tale, a 2-issue series talking about the little girl Newt from Aliens, written by Mike Richardson, publisher and owner of Dark Comics himself. I'm trying to think who did these covers. It'll come to me. But anyway, I got that. I thought that was cool. I also got Glory by Alan Moore, which I'm not even going to bother showing that. I've got it here somewhere, but wow, that was painful to read. Just if you're an Alan Moore completist, go after the awesome entertainment of Glory, that book. But I found this, issue 120. And there's a little run here of Marvel Comics Presents where Sam Keith came in, and this is the early 90s, 1992, where he did a Wolverine and Venom story with Howard Mackie. And I think there's 6 issues of this that ran the story, and they're actually quite popular if you can find them. 117 is the hard one to get, I think, right? But what was interesting about this is that Jared Osborne out there introduced me to a guy. Jared Osborne has a Zoom art meeting Tuesdays or Wednesdays during the week. Jared Osborne worked in the bullpen at Marvel, and he has friends that are on there, right? And there's a guy named Ed Murr that was on there. I met a couple times, and Ed Murr, it was just fantastic when I met him and stuff, right? So I'm sitting here reading this, and there's a Spider-Man story in here from 1992 with Ed Murr doing the Spider-Man books. Now, let me tell you something, man. As a guy who has read up, as a guy who just picks up comics and read comics, I have never met someone first and then picked up a comic and saw their name. And so that gave me a new experience as a comic book reader. So, yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool. So, Jared Osborne, I don't know. I found Ed Murr's Spider-Man story. I'm like, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Could that be him? Is that really him? So, yeah. That's a lot of it. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it down. I'd love to sit here and talk. Maybe I'll be shooting some of those videos again where I get all philosophical like I used to or something. But like I said, I have a wake to go to tonight. I got a few hours to get ready and take care of a few things. Got a line for work. So like, subscribe, thumb it up. And like I said, if you fossils are out there, please let Graphic Man know I may not be there because of this. It's come down to the point where it's the grandkids are left and we got to take care of a few things with a lot of things. What we got here? William Bird. Hey, thanks, Jared. I appreciate it. Tell Ed you were impressed. All right, fantastic. I've almost completed a second full run of MicroNauts that I want to use to get bound. They're likely never reprint in my lifetime. That's another thing. MicroNauts was a licensed property, so maybe that's part of the allure, the bait, if you will. ROM and MicroNauts I put together in my head because they're licensed property. That's probably why they'll never be reprinted. This is what I'm saying. They came from inner space is a great tagline. Totally get it. I was a Star Wars guy, but I would have one friend named Sam Jones who had the Micronaut toys when the Star Wars toys were out. And it was just so weird to see them. Shannon is right there. I have a few Micronauts. I've been thinking about trying to track down the missing issues of Golden and Kelly Jones. Had some great runs in those. One of those might have been Kelly Jones's first pencil work in comics. I'm not sure. I know he did inks on it. Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, listen, guys. Thanks for everybody popped in here. Seems like an hour seems to be what the show's, when I'm able to do these seems to last. Everybody have a great weekend. Get out and enjoy the weather. Go to my Instagram. For you guys that have me on Facebook, you know my real name and everything like that. Check out some of the videos and the calmness that I had yesterday, kayaking and everything. There should be a link in the bottom with this uploads on the rewind to get on the Instagram. I show some comics on there, stuff like this. It's Instagram, man. I like just pop in there. You know what Instagram is. And everybody be excellent to each other, man. Enjoy the weather, man. We have a beautiful sunny day out down here in Virginia. So hopefully you guys have got the same thing. Enjoy it. Later.